Dude, I'm gonna have so many.
Don't.
Okay, we can cut it.
All right, this is our group's first meeting.
Keep that in there, just keep it rolling.
So this is my pre-reading vlog for the book Stiff for AP Language and Composition. And I chose this book because out of all the topics that there were to read about, all the books that we were given to choose from, I thought this would be the most interesting because I'm kind of into science and I like to know about stuff like this. What I anticipate the book will be about, from what people have said from previous groups that have read this book, it's mostly about like what happens to bodies after people die, like what they're used for and how they're treated after death. And what am I looking forward to most about this book? Probably just learning new things about what happens to us after we die.
Hi, this is my pre-reading vlog of the book Stiff for AP Language and Composition. The reason I chose this book, along with my group members, was because we thought out of all the books that this was going to be the most interesting, something that could keep us reading, something that could teach us new stuff. My anticipation for the book, from what I've heard from my older brother who took the class and also read this book, and from other older friends, I think that I'm mostly going to find out a lot about what happens to your body after you die, if you donate it to science or if you choose another path. What I'm most looking forward to in this book is certainly just finding out new things. I think that would be kind of some weird stuff that would be fun to learn about, but also some stuff that may change my mind in the end, to choose a different path than maybe cremation or something more traditional like that.
This is my pre-reading for Stiff by Mary Roach, and I chose the book with my group because it seemed like an interesting and unusual topic, and the unusual nature of the book seemed like it would make a easy and enjoyable project as compared to the other ones. This might be cheating because I already read a little bit of the book, but I anticipate it to be covering different scenarios of what happens to the human body after death when you donate it to science or burial and cremation, etc. And I'm looking forward to learning interesting information about what happens to human bodies because it's not really a topic that we're regularly exposed to.
My group members and I have chosen the book Stiff. We chose this book because it seemed to be different and more unusual than other books. I feel like society today considers death to be a social taboo that is usually left out of conversation and books, but from the synopsis and the cover of the book, that's exactly what it seems to be about. I hope to gain more information about what happens when you go and you're gone, and I guess I don't really want too much imagery, but I'm kind of also curious about what my group members have to say at the group meetings and the questions I'll be asked.
All right, this is our group's first presentation on the book Stiff, and we're covering chapters 1 through 4.
Okay, so the first question for the meeting is, if one of your family members donated their body to science, would you be interested in what the remains are being used for?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
I'd be interested in what they're used for, but I wouldn't care where they ended up. Like, I don't think I'd really care what happened to their body, like if they were being dissected or if they were used as a test dummy or something. I would just be curious to see what was happening to them after they died.
Even if it was a loved one?
Yeah, even if it was a loved one. I mean, obviously I'm going to be hurt about a loved one dying, but they're dead. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
All right, this is APLAC presentation number 2. We're out here on Kyle's roof right now. All right, so in chapter 8, the book states that a heart can beat for minutes after death. Would you consider the loss of consciousness or the moment the heart stops beating to be considered the moment you die?
I would consider the heart beating because there's no way to tell when the consciousness is gone.
I would also say heart. I say as long as there's blood pumping throughout your body and into your brain, then you are still alive.
I'm going to have to say consciousness, because the way the book described it, it was saying like minutes after what doctors would consider to be death, your heart can still be beating, but you still aren't conscious because you're considered to be dead.
All right, that's a wrap.
This is our third meeting for the book Stiff, and our question is, what do you guys want to do with your bodies when you die? Cremation, donated to science, buried? What are your plans?
I think I'd be cremated.
I've always considered cremation as the only option for me, so.
I would say donation.
Yeah, I plan on donating my body.
Alright, so in chapter 11 it mentioned a different method called human composting. Would any of you consider that?
Not at all. No, I don't think I could get behind turning my body into a piece of compost. That's
It
weird.
seems a little degrading to my life that all I did throughout my life was prepare myself to be compost. So
Yeah, that's kind of.
Yeah,
definitely would not
that's,
consider that.
That is a bit degrading.
What do you think, Leo?
I would definitely not be composting. I'd definitely stick to cremation on this one. I don't want to become a brick of human manure.
All right, so
I have to agree.
no compost for any of us.
No
No
compost.
compost.
All right, well, I guess that concludes. This is my post-reading vlog for the book Stiff for AP Language and Composition. My overall reaction to the book, it was kind of boring at certain points and repetitive, but there was comedy to kind of balance it out, so that was nice. My least favorite part of the book was definitely the part about crucifixion because it's really weird to me. It's eerie. I don't like the idea of being nailed to a cross. I was correct on what I anticipated the book to be about. It was pretty much exactly how I thought it was going to be. It was just explanations of what happens to people's bodies when they donate to science or how they're used after death. And the most difficult part of reading the book was, I feel like, realizing that I'm going to have to deal with people dying or that I'm dying myself, and it's not going to be a fun thing to happen to me. So, yeah, that concludes the project for this year.
For my post-reading assessment of the book, Stiff, for AP Language and Composition, my reaction to the book, it was positive. I thought it was a good book, pretty interesting, kind of kept me on my toes from chapter to chapter, whether it was how bodies are used, to crucifixion, to how they're transported, things like that. My least favorite part of the book was probably realizing the different ways that people are used when they donate their bodies to science, whether it be crash test dummies or things like that. I thought that was kind of, I don't know, it made me uneasy knowing that people that I'm close to or my friends considering them to donate their bodies to science might actually just end up being plastic surgeon dummies. My anticipation for the book was pretty close. It wasn't spot on. I wasn't expecting all the humor in it. I didn't know how she was going to go about talking about a topic like this, but introducing comedy was actually a refreshing way to talk about death. The hardest part of the book to read or realize was that the end is not always the end for your body, whether you donate it or do something else with it, like the compost or something like that. But it is the end if you get cremated or buried, like me and a few of my group members just figure that we're gonna go that way.
This is my post-reading vlog for Stiff. My overall reaction to the book, I think the book was really well written and researched. You could tell the author put a ton of effort into researching this topic because she went out of her way to find a bunch of primary sources like first-hand sources, interviews and stuff like that. My favorite parts of the book were all the parts talking about mad scientists throughout the years and, you know, all the experiments they conducted on human cadavers for research. And I also thought the chapter discussing which part of the body the soul is located in was interesting and unusual. But something I didn't like a lot of the time was the dark humor, because there were only a couple jokes that I thought were actually funny. Most of them just didn't really fit with the tone of the chapter or book as a whole. The main theme of the book was death, obviously, but more specifically, the author repeated things relating to respect for the dead, and the comedic aspect in the last chapter of the book also convey acceptance of death because it's inevitable. So yeah.
I just got done reading the book Stiff. My overall reaction to it would be fascinated. There's just a whole world behind death that I had no idea even existed. From crucifixion to the human crash test, and there's just so much I didn't know before reading this. And like throughout the whole book though, she's like very respectful about like everything, the cadavers, dead people and whatnot. But the most difficult part of the book would definitely be the beginning, where you dive into the story of these college kids practicing on heads that used to be alive. And this happens in real life, and I guess I just couldn't wrap my head around it. But overall, I did like the book, and